Welcome back to the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. We are fortunate to have our annual conversation with none other than the legendary promoter for what I'm dubbing the most exclusive HBCU game of the year, and that is the State Fair Classic between the Prairie View A&M University Panthers and the Grambling State Tigers this year, scheduled for September the 30th. 6 p.m. from Dallas, Texas. Mr. Al Wash. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself, Doc?
I dare not complain, man. It's another glorious day and a good year to look forward to. And the time just keep on rolling along, huh?
Yeah, it rolls around quick. You know?
Right,
and I know
lose.
you people like for it to roll around quick because they done did 5 in a row on Grambling.
Yeah, and we're looking for 6, Al, if the truth be told. I'm not going to be upset if we get 6. You know, now, Al, I lose track, and I know I probably ask you this every year. What year is this of you promoting this game, man?
You know, Mike, I've been, I get confused on the years, too, but my office has. But I've been definitely doing it over 42 years.
I know so well. And it's just like you say, they mount up. And look, I can remember the long in-between times. It was an automatic win for Grambling when Prairie View showed up. But I've been liking the way it's been rolling, as you say, these past 5 years. But I'm looking for a little bit longer extension so we can try to get caught up in this thing, Al.
Yeah, and it's looking good for PVU.
Yes, sir. Well, look, Al, we know that time does bring about a change, and you have been one of the, as they say, staplers of promoting these games. But a lot of people are not aware. You promote more than just sporting events. You got a host of things that you promote. But let's start off with the sporting events that you're involved in and then other events that you carry out throughout the year.
Okay, well, the ones I'm involved with is definitely, this is our pride and joy, the State Fair Classic in Dallas every year. And then we're involved with the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. We kicked that off, and we're still involved with it as a consultant basis. And then we have a high school game, which is every year with Duncanville. And we call it the Duncanville Classic, and we always play one of the top schools in the country. This year we playing Rockledge out of Florida, Rockledge, Florida, which was 9-3 last year, and they returning pretty much their whole team this year. So, and everybody know Duncanville won the top 6A championship here in Texas, and so we're looking for a very, very, very competitive game here.
Yes, sir. Now, what's the date for that Duncanville Classic, Al?
September the 2nd. That's Saturday, September the 2nd, a 6 p.m. kickoff.
Okay, so you're going to be competing with my Panthers in the Texas Southern during the Labor Day Classic, man.
Yeah, but a high school, they have a built-in market of people that just follow Texas high school football. Everybody knows Texas high school football is one of the biggest in the country when it comes to high school football. Now the Labor Day Classic, that's a Prairie View Grambling, and they have not marketed the way it should have been. And to be honest with you, I started the Labor Day Classic when it started being Labor Day, the first game of the season. They were playing the last game of the season, and we moved it to the first game of the season with when Brutus Jackson was the athletic director over there. And,
yes, sir.
And we started building that game up, and then Texas Southern, they decided they wanted to go left, and Prairie View wanted to go right, and it just, it all went under at that point. Everybody think the promoter makes all the money. And when they decided, oh, we can do it ourselves because he's making money and we can take that money and put it in our pocket. Well, if you look at the history of what happened, yeah, they did it the first year. The second year, it went down. The third year, it dissipated. It was gone. You know?
Yes, sir.
It's more than just thinking you can promote a game. It's work involved in this, and we work on them year-round, Mike.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. You're doing those two main games, well, actually three if you count the Duncanville Classic, and those take a lot of prepping and making sure that I's are dotted, T's are crossed, logistics and everything, and it's a lot more on the beneath surface than on top of the surface. And sometimes people, they just, like you said, look from afar and they figure they can just plug and go and it's instant magic. So I do understand that. Trust me, with us producing shows every day, a lot of people think you just open up a mic and there it is, but it takes prepping, planning, and even some cases editing, man. So trust me, I do understand your pain.
Yep.
Now, Al, when you talk about this thing, and one thing that we do know, we're going to talk about this Labor Day Classic real quick. They've switched it to home and home, but I was not a big component of it being at the Astrodome, and in particular NRG, because I didn't like some of the lack of hospitality, if you would, that I experienced as a broadcaster, media coverage. And the home and homes can work, but like you say, it's almost built in to me like that Duncanville Classic, because you're going to get the drove. It's a game that, yes, they could do more promoting on, but I think the powers that be are content because it's a low-risk, high-reward deal when it comes to promoting, and once again, that theory of trying to pocket as much as they can.
Well, yeah, that's of course, the universities and a lot of people that don't know do think let's pocket as much as we can, and I'm for making more money for the universities because it takes a lot to run an athletic department in the state of Texas. So I take pride in the State Fair Classic. If we're not taking home the type of payday they've been taking home and it don't increase every year, then I'll be going. They don't have to tell me to go. I'll leave. You know, but I know we've been taking home more money than they've ever taken home in any game. And everybody think Grambling's biggest game is the Bayou Classic for payday. That's not the case. You know, once they pay all those expenses and entourage they bring down to New Orleans and stay there for 4 and 5 days, take the team, take the band and be in the parades and everything, they come home with less money than they do in Dallas. So Dallas game is Prairie View #1 payday and Grambling's #1 payday.
Okay, now it's ironic that you would bring that up, Alan. I know it's been well documented, and you've voiced on this show on more than one occasion the reluctancy of televising the game because of the risk of it keeping people at home. And we do notice that it's going to be televised. This year was televised last year. Have you gotten comfortable with that, and do you see that the numbers necessarily didn't hurt, nor did it possibly increase? And do you see there's something moving forward that could help promoting the State Fair Classic with people either watching it on television or being there in person?
No, I'm not comfortable with it. And I guess I found out about it being televised like everyone else did about the time of the SWAC meeting in Birmingham, because HBO Go, they said they were not going to televise it. Then I hear some other networks going to televise it, but no one has talked to me yet about it. And I'm going to make a call to the commissioner this week and talk to him about it, because, you know, we're not organized, you know. I mean, how you going to say something is being televised, and I've been marking the game for 40-some years, and nobody come to me as of yet today?
Okay. Now, to play devil's advocate, could they say, well, they don't necessarily have to come to you, but because it was
They can say that. Go ahead. But they can say that. But the thing is, this is doing the world's largest fair. We're in the middle of the world's largest fair. You can't drive trucks and drive these people in there and just drive in the middle of these people. The state fair will shut you down. They don't care much about being televised. You know, when Texas OU come in there, they feel like Texas OU TV network, it builds the state fair up, and their attendance is greater from weeks on after that game because it's televised all nationally, all over the country. But, you know, we don't have our game plan together, and it can never come to the table early enough to get with the state fair and the city and this is what we're doing. You know, we need to increase the money, that's the revenue, and the people coming from out of town, you know, to see the game. It's still something that you can't experience by watching it on TV. You know, we have a pregame concert, you know, and that, well, let me back up. The gates open at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it closed at 12 midnight. You can go to the fair every day for a week and never see the same thing. This is the world's largest fair. And so there's a lot of activities. We have a big stage outside the Cotton Bowl, which they call the Chevy stage. And we have CeeLo Green performing at 4 o'clock. That concert is from 4 to 5. Then at 5 o'clock, the gates of the Cotton Bowl open. And then the kickoff's at 6 o'clock. And then after the after the game, we have Chrisette Michelle performing. These are things that you cannot see on TV, you know. And there we're saying that we are promoting the game, and one ticket price, one ticket will get you into 6-7 events. So you have 2 concerts, you have the world's largest fair, you got the halftime show, you got the game, and then of course we have a Grammy winner, Pamela Dawson, who won a Grammy. She's a music director over at DeSoto High School, and her choir will be there singing the national anthem. I mean, so we have, and you got the automobile show. You know, you got the African American Museum there. You got the Women's Museum there. So there, you know, you got the livestock exposition there. You got so much to see and going on. You can't televise that. You can't imagine what you'd be missing just by looking at it on TV. It's an experience in itself.
Okay. Now, with all that being noted, what about the person who said, man, that sounds great, that's wonderful, but I just want to watch the game. I want to be able to just watch the game. I might have financial restraints where I can't travel from out of town, even disabilities to where I can't get around and be as mobile. I just want to be able to watch the game. What do you say to those people?
Well, I mean, I guess that's what the reason they're putting it on TV is just to watch it on TV. But if the numbers aren't there on TV, it makes no sense of keeping it on TV. Eventually, they're gonna go to another game. They're gonna go to another conference. You know, if you're gonna support. If you're not gonna support, then it's all gonna go down. Even the game itself, the live game, it's gonna go down. You know. Okay,
so do you see that as being a threat with the way these media contracts are going today, that we could possibly be seeing a decline?
Well, it could be, but one thing about it, that's why you got me. You know, I sit here and I work on something year round. That's why I have a pregame concert, a postgame concert. I sold the city and the state fair to participate and financially, you know. I mean, these other cities, Labor Day Classic, for example, the city of Houston don't do anything for the Labor Day Classic. You know, they don't step up to the plate. And probably the reason is there's nobody at a university that has the time and the know-how just to go and spend time with the city and know the politics of where to get the money, how to sell it, how to pitch it, you know, because they're educating kids at these universities. They need to continue to educate the kids and let athletics, you know, raise money for athletics to keep these kids on the field. You know,
okay.
I mean, it's a team, but it's a team effort. I couldn't do it without the support of the president at a university, at Grambling or Prairie View. So even if you got to look at the dollars that's coming in, you know. The last president they had, I never met the lady. I never met the president at Prairie View. No one ever introduced me to her. Never. You know, I know she was a great lady. I know she raised a lot of money for the university, you know, but if no one's there to say, hey, this is our promoter of this thing, this is what he's done over the 40 years, this is what he's done, you know, lately for us the last 4 years or whatever, this is the money that he brings in for this game, and, you know, nobody has ever introduced me to the lady. Everybody that come in and be part of it, everybody's important, you know.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
yes, sir.
You know, I mean, I can say some things, but I don't want to cut my throat. And, I mean, it's like we don't even have an athletic director at Prairie View. Why not? You know, I mean, we brought in a guy last time, come from somewhere, Boston.
You talking about from Buffalo? Buffalo, yeah. Dr. Reed.
Yeah, Dr. Reed, he's a great guy. He was a great guy to talk to, but he didn't know HBCU, you know, and didn't know. This is my opinion. Everybody has one, and it might be everybody in your listening audience might disagree with me, but he's not there anymore for whatever reason. I don't have time to keep up with why he's not there, you know, but I never really just talked to him. He just told me, keep doing what you're doing. And as long as you're making money for us, just keep doing it. That's the most I've ever gotten out of the man.
Oh, man. Well, of course, we're talking with the legendary Al Wash, promoter of multiple events, but in particular that of the State Fair Classic between Prairie View and the Grambling State Tigers. Now, before we move on, Al, I heard, and I just want clarity for me, because if I heard it, I'm pretty sure others heard it. Even though you have this Duncanville Classic going on that kind of lines up with the Labor Day Classic, would you entertain the possibility of promoting the Labor Day Classic again?
Look, Mike, I'm in business. You know, I couldn't help but consider it, but I would not accept a project like that after what they have done to the product and taking it home and you know, it's hard to get some consistency if you're going to do it how you want to do it at Texas Southern one year, and then at Prairie View, you're going to do it how you want to do it at Prairie View the next year. Now, I would think, as far as I know of, I think Prairie View is more successful doing it their way than Texas Southern is and doing it their way. Now, I don't know that for sure, but I would think that Prairie View probably bring in more money for them when it's their year than Texas Southern does. The only people know that will be the people that's handling the finances.
Right.
But I do multiple events on the same day. I'm in business. I got a staff here. So, yes, I can do multiple events every day. Labor Day, I was doing the Ohio game and the Duncanville game the same day. You know?
Okay.
Not only that, but and I want to move off of sports, but I do what we call a Mother's Day celebration. I do 12 shows in 3 days. 12 shows in 3 days. And they all pretty much are major markets. Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore. We're going to Fayetteville this year, Richmond, Virginia, Hampton, Virginia, let's see, St. Louis, Cleveland, Atlanta, and yeah, I mean, so that's 12 events in 3 days. So we pretty much have 4 shows each night. I can't be in 4 different places each day.
Mm-hmm. So right. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got a staff, and I got a pretty darn good staff that they all are knowledgeable and doing what they do, and this is all we do. We're not teaching. We're not educating. You know, we're not doing this part time. We do it full time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
to answer your question about Labor Day, yeah, both schools get together and we sit down and we can come to an agreement and we can come to something. I can't fix something in 1 year. And not to say it needs to be fixed, but if you're not taking home the money that you once took home, you know, then yeah, it needs to be retooled.
Right. Well, I know this might not be a fair question to you, knowing that you haven't had your hands on the actual product, but we know that the go-to location, if there were a mutual site, would be the NRG. Just from what you can recall or what you're aware of, could you think of another mutual location in the Houston area other than NRG that would be a good place for that event?
Well, I mean, you're in Houston, the area, Houston, you tell me. I can tell you other places in Dallas, but number one, if that game would have continued to be at the NRG or the Astrodome or in a dome, if I had a dome in Dallas, I would be able to sell that dome out. You know, I mean, the weather, climate, people don't have to worry about climate. They don't have to worry about, you know, I mean, it's just perfect to be inside. So you give me a dome, man, there's no telling what I can do.
Al Wash, promoter, and I'm going to say entrepreneur, a man who's in business. You're like the commissioner said from the Pac-12 and the Big 12 that they're open for business. So I'm definitely hearing that you're open for business, right, Al?
Oh, the most definitely I am and have been.
Well, Al, you know, it is always enlightening when we get a chance to talk things over. And I asked you in times past about the promoting business. It's getting a bit more challenging each year, but it's almost, as the old saying goes, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Yes, social media is here. It is the wave. It is the present. It is the future. But I call it the tried and true guerrilla marketing tactics still work in today's time. Would you agree with that?
Oh, most definitely. And you're right on both cases. Social media is here. We're doing more on social media every year than we've ever done and than we do every year. Radio is not doing what it normally have done for us over the year. When I started out, we could just buy radio and pack out a place. You know, we could buy some TV and it looks good on TV. Now, social media, you know, if you ever look at, go around these college campuses, go around these airports, go around anything and see what these kids and what people have in their hands. Telephone. And they all doing social media, you know. So you can't even reach people by radio, the masses of people, like you used to be able to. Radio's still there, it still works. TV still works, but social media is even better. And what people don't understand in Dallas, we are the largest black event in the state of Texas with people under one roof. Now, if it's something else that does an annual event every year, they can do 50+ thousand people every year under one roof. Tell me what it is. And when you look at where we're selling tickets, we're not selling tickets in Canada, in Alaska, in Des Moines, Iowa, Utah. We're not selling tickets on radio and on TV. That's coming from social media. We sell. I looked at the increase of ticket sales has increased tremendously in Detroit, Michigan, in Chicago, Illinois. You know, when we get our Ticketmaster report, we look and see where we're selling tickets at and what parts of the country. You know, I sell tickets in El Paso, Texas. You can't get a Houston, Dallas radio or TV station in El Paso, Texas. You know.
Well, here's where I'm about to challenge that theory just for a moment. The traditional form of radio has not had the reach in times past, but they have transitioned, and you said that very thing they had, social media, phone usage, with internet radio, podcasting. Those are forms of radio, and that is greatly effective today.
Oh, no doubt about that. And that's what I mean, that those are ways that you can get it, and you can go on those apps and you can get your show in Alaska.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because we got a couple of folks in Alaska that listen, and I was shocked about that.
Yeah. I mean, you'll be shocked of where, and I'll send you the list of where we selling tickets at. And we're not making up numbers, 50,000, 60,000 people. I'm looking for 65,000 people this year for the game. And we're not doing that number just from Dallas and Houston.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Al, you know, I'm always excited when I get a chance to talk to you. September the 30th, 6 p.m. It used to be at 4. We talked about the Heat, 6 p.m. Seems to be that sweet time that can get a chance to enjoy the game and enjoy the fair and the festivities after it. You've given us the run list of who's going to be there. And look, I always put you on the spot. Not that I try to, but you can never put Al on the spot. Who do you think going to win this year, Al?
TVU.
That's all right. That's all right. Al, look, I want to give you some closing thoughts and comments, sir, as we get ready to wrap this segment up.
What was that? What was that you asked?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to give you some closing thoughts and comments as we get ready to wrap this segment up.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, the closing thoughts on my behalf would be support. I don't care if it's the State Fair Classic. People say, well, he ain't doing nothing but selling the State Fair Classic. Yes, that's my job, you know. But I said not just support the State Fair Classic, support the Labor Day Classic, support home games at Grambling and Prairie View and at Texas Southern. Support them all, you know. But the main thing is they got to be able to help themselves first. And if I was an AD at any school in Texas, I would look at my schedule and say, okay, Commissioner, I don't like playing this game on this day because this is happening over here. Can we switch this around and maybe it'll help our attendance to get more? I'm hearing that their games last year, Texas Southern and Prairie View had their homecoming the same weekend. How can that happen? You know, it don't affect, I'm going to say it don't affect Prairie View, because Prairie View, you probably can't bring no more people. I think it affects Texas Southern more than Prairie View, and it might help them, because there might be some fans that will go down to Texas Southern while they up at Prairie View's homecoming. And last year I did it. I went to Glenn Junior College. We had an event, and we started an endowment, the black students. We put on an endowment at Glenn Junior College to help kids that can get into these junior colleges and move forward and be able to go to a Prairie View. I'd like to see more of Glenn athletes go to Prairie View and Grambling or Texas Southern, but you can't take them all. But we were there at Glenn that weekend, and I was at Prairie View that night party.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ain't nothing wrong with that neither, Al. Ain't nothing wrong with that, my man.
So all I say is support education and get these kids off the streets. And get too much violence going on. It's like I was listening to a radio station the other day. What is one of them oldie stations on satellite, and I was listening to Marvin Gaye and Curtis Mayfield, the Impressions, and I said, none of these songs are about violence. All of them was about love. I just listened to them and I said, man, the music has changed so much with this rapping and gang banging and shooting and doing this and that, and the comparison of music even makes the difference, of what's happening out here in today's world. But, that's what I said, Mike. You keep doing what you're doing, and I support you, and I support Texas Southern, Prairie View, Grambling, any of the SWAC schools. The commissioner, I think he's doing a fine job. I think the president that I never met at Prairie View did a fine job. The president at Grambling, which I know very well, and a good man, he's doing a decent job over there at Grambling. So let's support each other.
Well, very well said, Al. Al Wash, promoter extraordinaire, talking about getting it all on one page, and that's exactly our efforts here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter, now known as X. So we call it X, Twitter X, whichever you want to do. But it's at The Mike Prince Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, and visit the website with a 24-hour stream at obnradio.com. And just in case you have one of those smart devices, all you have to do is say, hey, play the latest episode of The Mike Prince Show, and you'll have everything that you need. My time has come where I must exit stage left. My time is far spent. So until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.